We have Sunita Reddy of Apollo Hospitals joining us and Mr. H.M. Bangur, the chairman of Shree Cement, as well joining us. Sunita and Mr. Bangur, thank you very much for your patience. We are getting lost in the litany of tax litigation and the fine print, so hence the delay. But Sunita, first thoughts, what have you made? There are some benefits given for R&D, some a basic customs duty on some import of medicines has been revoked or brought down to zero. Your first thoughts on the budget itself?
No, I think it was a good budget, very stable. I really like the focus on skilling and the fact that, for 4.1 crore youth, the government is willing to invest 2 lakh crores. And we can use our CSR funding for internships. I think this will have a huge impact on the healthcare industry because skilling was something that was much needed in this industry. What you mentioned about customs duty, realization and reduction for, especially in the oncology space, for 3 other medicines, as well as on tubes, I think, is going to reduce the cost of delivery of oncology care. And I think that this is something that is much needed because it's growing at 20%. So it will be very impactful. The third that I wanted to stress on is, they did make some mention about women and creating better workspaces. I think this issue of creating jobs, helping them to stay as working women even after they have children, enabling them to come back to work is a very important factor in contributing to the GDP of the country.
Most of the tax.
We should really recognize this. With regard to research, even though the allocation was 1 lakh crore, I believe that we're still at 0.7% of GDP. And I'm hopeful that we could work with the government to really increase this from 0.7% to something more meaningful. And finally, I have to say that for the healthcare sector, I think the GST, where we have no set off against the input cost, is something that we need to have conversations with the state and the central government and the GST Council.
Right. On what specifically, Sunita Reddy, GST?
Yes, I think,
No,
we really need to do some. No, I think, for example, for the input tax, GST tax that we pay, 18%, there's no set off. We're in the negative list.
Okay.
So I'm hoping for some rationalization there.
Okay. Yeah, that's outside the purview of the central budget. So
yes,
it
but
will
she
have to
did
be raised.
mention, she started by mentioning that there will be some look at a GST.
All right. Then that's extremely positive. Hold on, Sunita Reddy, for just 1 minute. Let me invite Mr. H.M. Bangur, the chairman of Shree Cement, as well. Mr. Bangur, again, thank you for coming and thank you for your patience. Well, under the PMAY, there is 3 crore additional houses that are going to be supported with subvention on credit. So more houses would mean more cement. Your overall takeaway from the budget?
Yes, that is right. But more houses means much more jobs. Construction industry is one where the maximum number of jobs are created per unit of expenses. So 3 crore house is the cheapest way to create more jobs. So that has been achieved both ways. Houses are needed here. Yes, please.
Right. Mr. Bangur, do you think, what does the slew of announcements which have come through, does it give a leg up to cement demand as you see it?
Of course, more than 12 lakh, about 11 to 12 lakh crores are being spent on infrastructure.
Yep.
And in the infrastructure, maximum consumption is of cement.
Yep.
And it will be done very fast. Secondly, the road connectivity also leads to cement availability in the rural areas at the affordable cost.
Fair point. Yeah, fair point, Mr. Bangur. Just hold on. I want to come to Sunita Reddy also on the point of the extraordinary munificence shown expectedly to the state of Andhra Pradesh. There is going to be a lot of road development, 15,000 crore of additional spend on that state. I'm sure, Sunita, of course, you have hospitals all over the country, but I wouldn't be surprised if you had, a little more of an emphasis in the states of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh as well. What's your sense? Do you see, a greater deal of infrastructure activity in the state?
I definitely do. I think that with the leadership currently in place, with this allocation and the fact that there's a lot of foreign direct investment looking at this state, the signal from the center will only incentivize more investment, including healthcare infrastructure.
Yeah, there is also a lot. I mean, one of the many programs she announced also was industrial development and grants for water, power, railways, etc. There is, the Visakhapatnam corridor as well, which was mentioned. So the backward region of Rayalaseema is going to get some benefits. So all this will mean, of course, demand for everyone. And there is likewise a similar package for Bihar. So, Mr. Bangur, are these centers you sell to? Are these important centers for Shree Cement as well? And therefore, your reaction?
Yes, in Bihar, we are having the biggest factory, and Bihar was having consumption much lower than the Indian average.
Okay.
So even if the Indian average consumption comes there, and with road connectivity, with all these infrastructure and the money available there, because when money is spent, a lot of profit will be remaining with the people of Bihar. We expect Bihar to grow much faster. And moreover, this budget is a continuity not only to be seen for this year, but for next 5 years. It is a groundwork. This year it is Bihar and Andhra. Next year it may be some other states. Now, full India will be developed in fast mode.
All right. Hi, Mr. Bangur, and welcome to the show. This is Nigel on this side. A couple of questions with regard to demand first. Post this, you're sounding quite optimistic with regard to the steps that have taken. So, industry demand, what are you focusing on? It should grow by around 8 to 10% for this growth this year, if you could confirm that. And also, would you have liked some more focus on the green energy side? Because companies like you are putting a lot of money, a lot of focus on that side. Since prices are not moving up, maybe some relief on the cost side?
Yes, 8 to 10% demand growth is expected. And as far as the renewable energy, it is because so many things are being said. One important point of incentivizing pump hydro that has been missed. So a lot of work has to be done and is being done for seeing that the renewable energy remains relevant. And if additional energy is produced in the off time, then that can be stored and reused. So the renewable energy is definitely the future.
Okay. The other important announcements in the budget, of course, have been on capital gains. Mr. Bangur, basically, as from a finance standpoint, for a company like yours, are there any differences at all if long-term, short-term capital gains change and indexation of property is gone? Do all these make a difference to a corporate, or is it largely an individual's headache?
It is largely an individual's headache. We have to, every time we normally talk about how the collection is made. This time the budget has to be focused on how the spending will be done. There is very little thing has been done, small changes in collection side. Okay. For individuals and for the specific cases, it will be big. But overall, it will have not much meaning.
Okay. Sunita, I want to come back to you on that very important point you raised, that all the advantages of skilling and the subsidy given by the government for corporates that have new employees, I think about 1 crore employees at least for the next 4 years. If you can tell us whether this is this will mean what, more nurses, more sub-staff for the hospital industry? How do you see it playing out? And will it make a very big difference in terms of increasing the number of hospitals and help?
Oh, definitely it will, because especially at Apollo, where we're adding 6 hospitals, at least 2,000 beds, I could quantify the difference, and let me say it's meaningful. So not only from staff that are from the back office to those that are consumer facing, I think this will be a huge benefit for the healthcare industry.
Okay. Now, would this actually make you employ more? I mean, employment is always a budget which you have to keep in mind among other things. But will this be an incentive to employ more people, especially at the new joinee level?
Yes, I think it is definitely an incentive to employ more. But more important is that you have to think of the ripple effect. When you do one healthcare job, there are 4 ancillary jobs that are being created. So the impact on the industry will be large.
Fair point. Sunita Reddy, thank you very much and for giving us this human welfare angle or skilling angle. Mr. Bangur, similar question to you. Do you think this broadly encourages formalization of labor? There are a lot of lower skilled labor which companies, large companies, outsource to the staffing companies, and not all staffing companies are only looking at formal jobs. Do you think largely formalization of jobs will be increased?
Formalization job is one part, but my focus will be if they are there for 1 year in a big company, first 500 companies, the skill level there will increase tremendously, and they will be fit to be employed anywhere in any industry. So staying with these big companies for 1 year will definitely increase their skill level. And I am focusing on skill level which is there, which will be increasing. Teaching the skill is best done by practical on-ground experience.
Okay. Any other comments you have on the budget, Mr. Bangur? Anything we may have missed asking you?
Not really missed. Only positive things is that this is the first step of the 5-year term. A lot of things that we are moving towards more on capital expenditure, which means long-term growth of the country. So we feel that short-term small pains will be there. Somebody will be disappointed. This has not been done. But overall, when we see, it is that next year 7.5% to 8% growth also of the country may be expected.
Okay, all right. Mr. Bangur, thank you very much for joining us here. Appreciate your time here. Ms. Reddy, great to have you with us.